They called me just the night guard, and for a long time I believed them. I want to start there because that's where everything really began, in a moment so small it almost didn't matter, the kind of moment people step over every day without noticing. I was standing outside a gated mansion at 2 in the morning, holding a flashlight with a cracked lens, listening to insects hum in the dark, wondering how a guy with a college degree ended up making minimum wage protecting things that would never belong to him. Yeah, that happened. And if you've ever been looked at and instantly sized up as nothing special, you already know how this story feels. My name doesn't matter anymore. Let's just say I was hired as a security guard on a private estate owned by one of the most powerful families in the city. New name, new place, fresh start, or so I thought. The first thing I learned was my position. Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't look people in the eye too long. Don't ask questions. Especially, don't get close to the family. The head of household, a ruthless businesswoman everyone feared, made that clear without ever saying it directly. Her assistant said it for her. "You're here to open gates and keep quiet," she told me. Lips tight, eyes cold. That's all. I needed the job. Badly. My bank account was bleeding. My younger brother was sick back home, medical bills stacking up like bad news you can't outrun. So I nodded, swallowed my pride, and wore the uniform like armor. On the outside, I was invisible. On the inside, I was watching everything. That's how I noticed the girl. She couldn't have been more than 9 or 10, always sitting alone near the garden wall, lining up stones, drawing shapes in the dirt. No phone, no music, no laughter. At first, I thought she was just quiet. Rich kids can be strange that way. But then I noticed something else. She kept touching her right ear. Tap, 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 like she was trying to knock on a door that wouldn't open. Sometimes her face tightened like a flash of pain she didn't want anyone to see. It bothered me. I'd seen that look before years ago in my hometown on people who were hurting but didn't have the words for it. I asked one of the other staff about her once quietly. He scoffed. "She's deaf," he said, like that explained everything. "Doctors said it's permanent. Rich people problem." He laughed and walked away. Something about that laugh stuck with me. It wasn't cruel, just careless. Like her suffering was old news already filed away and forgotten. A few days later, I got my first warning. The estate manager cornered me near the gate. "I see you watching the child," she said. "Don't. She's not your concern." I tried to explain, told her I was just making sure she was safe. She leaned in close enough for me to smell her perfume. "You don't get paid to care," she whispered. "You get paid to obey." Message received. So I backed off. Or at least I tried. But you can't unsee certain things. Every morning, same routine. Same tapping. Same wince of pain. Same loneliness. And every time the family's convoy rolled out of the driveway, engines roaring, the girl stayed behind, watching dust settle where love should have been. Nobody hugged her goodbye. Nobody waved. That silence wasn't peace. It was abandonment with nice landscaping. The first real interaction happened by accident. She was struggling with a kite tangled so badly it looked hopeless. She tugged, got frustrated, her mouth opening in a soundless cry. I looked around. No cameras in that corner. No staff nearby. I crouched and tapped the ground hard so she could feel the vibration. She looked up, startled. Big eyes. Guarded. I smiled, pointed at the kite, then at my hands. "Let me help." She hesitated, then passed it through the fence. I untangled it in seconds and handed it back. She stared at it, then at me, and smiled. A small one. Real. My chest did something weird right then. You know what I mean? After that, there were little moments. I left a folded paper bird where she liked to sit. She left me a drawing in return. We didn't speak, but we communicated. She invented her own signs. Tapping her chest meant happy. Pressing her palms together meant safe. She used that one around me. A lot. And every time it felt heavier than a paycheck. That's when the tension started. The assistant noticed. Pulled me aside again. "You think you're special," she snapped. Doctors from 3 countries couldn't help her. "You think you know better?" I didn't answer. She leaned back, smirking. "Stay in your lane, hero, or you'll lose this job, and we both know you can't afford that." She was right, and she knew it. Then came the day everything snapped. It was hot, the kind of heat that makes your skin crawl. I heard a thud inside the house, followed by something worse, a silent scream. I ran without thinking, found the girl curled on the floor, clutching her ear, tears pouring down her face. She was in agony. I knelt beside her, heart racing, and she grabbed my hand, pressing it to her ear like she was begging me to make it stop. I pulled out my flashlight, shined it carefully, and froze. There was something in there. Deep, dark, solid. Not a nerve issue, not invisible. Something physical, something that shouldn't be there. She saw my face and panicked, shook her head violently. No doctors, no more. Her hands were shaking, and in that moment I had a choice. Walk away and keep my job, or trust what my eyes were telling me. I remembered my brother sick and scared, waiting on money I didn't have. I remembered every time I'd wished someone would just do the right thing, even if it cost them. My hands were sweating. I whispered, "I won't hurt you," even though I wasn't sure she could read my lips. Later that evening, it happened again. Worse. She collapsed, pain unbearable. Footsteps echoed in the hall. I had seconds. I took out the small tweezers I kept in my kit's sterilized hands, shaking so hard I thought I'd drop them. "Please," I whispered, not sure who I was talking to anymore. I worked slowly, carefully. Breath held. There was resistance then, a sickening release. The blockage came out in my palm, black, hardened, horrifying. And then she gasped. A real gasp. Air. Sound. Her eyes flew open. She pointed at the clock on the wall, lips trembling. "Tick," she whispered. I broke. Tears everywhere. She touched her throat, feeling the vibration of her own voice, then said one word, broken and beautiful. "Mom." That's when the door slammed open. The woman who owned the house stood there, eyes wild, taking in the scene. Blood on my hands, her daughter on the floor. Fear took over. She screamed. Guards rushed in. I tried to explain, but she didn't hear me. Nobody ever does when you're wearing a uniform like mine. I was dragged away, accused of assault, of pretending to be a doctor, of endangering a child. As they pulled me out, the girl screamed my name. Loud, alive. The sound echoed in my head as the cell door closed. I spent the night on the concrete floor, staring at the ceiling, wondering if doing the right thing was supposed to feel this terrible. I thought about my brother. I thought about that word, tick. I told myself it had to be enough. The truth came out the next day. Hospital tests. Real tests. Doctors with integrity this time. The obstruction had always been there. Visible in old scans. Ignored. Labeled something else because it was easier, more profitable, safer for reputations. A simple fix turned into years of suffering. When the woman learned the truth, she came for me like a storm. They brought me into her office, bruised, exhausted. I expected more yelling. Instead, she did something that stunned everyone. She apologized. She said my name like it mattered. She admitted she'd judged me by my job, my clothes, my place in her world. She said I gave her daughter back her voice. Then she made sure my brother's medical bills were paid. All of them. I didn't go back to guarding gates. I didn't want to. I went back to being who I was before the world told me I wasn't enough. The girl. She laughs now, loudly. She complains that music is too noisy. She hears everything. And every time I think about how close we came to missing that miracle, it scares me. So, here's my question to you. How many Daniels have you ignored? How many answers have you dismissed because they didn't come wrapped in authority or wealth? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Argue if you want. Agree if it hits home. And if this story made you uncomfortable, good. Sometimes discomfort is where truth lives. Like, share, subscribe. Whatever you do, but don't forget this one thing. The person you're overlooking might be the one who changes everything.